guys! Today, we are going to learn about the different things that center the idea of communication, from definitions, scenarios, job opportunities, and well, even a glimpse of its legality and psychology. So sit still and listen as we jam into knowledge. What is communication? Communication is about the transfer of information. It's basically everywhere, in class, at home, or literally anywhere. We can say that it is natural interaction for people like us. Whatever we do, we subconsciously communicate.
Communication is often associated to understanding as it originally meant common from the Latin word communis, which translates to common understanding between sender and receiver. Well, isn't the main goal why communication exists is because people aim to understand?
So, the earliest verbal communication our country ever had was from the African and Austronesian influences that is composed of Taiwan, Polynesia, and Australia. Verbal communications is one of the reasons why us, humans, are able to create civilizations. The power of words indeed, right?
Moving a couple of centuries back to the present, communication is not only a mere human interaction. It is something that we can study and we can take as a profession. We can study communication arts, broadcasting, journalism, or creative writing. We can also choose to pursue arts like theater and film.
If you want to someday pursue communication as a career, a lot of industries are waiting for you. You can work in the journalism industry and be a reporter. You can work in the print industry and be a writer. Or you can work as an actor in the film industry. There are lots of options, options, options.
In the journalism industry, you can either be a reporter, anchor, or news writer. You will be working in service of upholding the truth and setting information for what happened today or what's happening to the world. Do you see yourself as a journalist someday?
Belonging in the print media will mean you will be working with a lot of researching, writing, and proofreading. You can either be a journalistic or a fictitious writer. Either way, you will likely develop a vast vocabulary and a really deep understanding on your worldviews. You can be a writer, editor, or an author, depending on what suits you best.
What job opportunities do you get in communication? Lastly, you may also work for a film or theater industry. In here, you can be acting, directing, writing, and producing. This usually takes so much hard work and practice, but it is one of the most in-demand entertainment because people love seeing talents and performances in one piece.
Freedom of speech is supported by both the Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Article 3 Bill of Rights Section 4 in the 1987 Philippine Constitution. We all have the right to speak our minds, but remember that your right to speech is not an excuse to step on other people's rights. Think before you speak because we can never take our words back.
In communication, there's a sender and a receiver. Press media is one of the most influential branches of communication because it gives open access of information to people. The press should always be free not only from lies, but also from oppression and bias. Our freedom of expression also comes in package with our freedom of information.
Meanwhile, there are several things that psychology teaches us about communication. Here are 4 things to remember about the psychology of communication. Listen and let's find out.
Message sent is not always message received. Remember that communication is not just passing off information. There must be understanding, and although feedbacks are not necessarily verbal, communication tells us that there will be feedbacks, and if none, well, that is not communication.
Everything involves in communication. It is just impossible to not communicate. Communication can be done through actions or gestures and not just words.
All messages, be it gestures or words, have contents and feelings. A simple nod would send a message that you were noticed, or a simple letter F in your report card would send a message of failure. Messages are always filled with content and emotions, and it is on the receiver's part on how he will comprehend it.
Nonverbal cues are more believable than verbal cues. Ever heard of action speaks louder than words? Well, it is a perfect example. Most of the time, according to psychology, actions tell more compared to words. Actions can't lie, so it sends a really reliable message.
Studying communication may shape you into a person that can raise awareness. You will learn new things and you will have that better understanding about the world because you will witness things from different points of view. It is a lifelong education about the real world, both its horrors and its goodness.
Rules of journalist. Through effective communication, we are able to expose the truth. We are able to determine what would we do to attain a better good for everyone. And lastly, we are able to change the toxic things around us. Good communication is always the key.
Communication, especially verbal communication, is a gift. It is something that sets us apart from other beings and creatures. Always remember to use this skill responsibly. Communication has a lot to offer and should not be wasted on distasteful things. Speak kind, speak smart, speak out.
Thank you for listening and learning with us. We are Group 7 from Grade 12 Humanities and Social Sciences Strand, Freud. We are composed of Semilla, Sharona, Nicole P, Prietos, Kyla L, Llagas, Iris G, Agaton, Airam Ron S, and Canedo, Zyriel Jean.